Okay, welcome back to At The Helm with your host, Justin Helms. And then we have two guests, someone who's been here before and someone who I've talked about bringing on here multiple times. And I'm excited he's finally here. I'll let y'all introduce yourselves.
Okay, you go.
Well, I'm Jonathan from the Sports Dan Podcast. I've had Justin on for a couple of times. This is my first time meeting the other guests here today. So,
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Chase. I am I was formerly with Justin on the Let's Get It podcast. Happy to be back with my boy here, talking a little college football.
For sure. And what was I about to say? Yeah, shout out to Jonathan. He recorded his podcast yesterday. Go check it out, the Sports Den and everything like that. And then you already see one of them is representing. That's a Georgia fan. This guy's also a Georgia fan. So it's two Georgia fans and then me, an unbiased Bama fan, you know? So
you're the most biased Bama fan I ever met in my life.
Absolutely not.
Man. My gosh.
Nah, I just be telling it how it is. I see my team. Okay, so first thing we always like to do is what do we learn? OG segment here. So I want to ask y'all, what did y'all learn this week first? And we could talk about that, and then I'll go into mine. So either one of y'all.
So for me, I learned jokingly that there is one team that can out-Falcons the Falcons, and that is Carolina. My gosh, it was just – I don't even know if I want to call it a good game. It was a good game, and that throw by P.J. Walker at the end was incredible. But, I mean,
that was crazy.
How does that happen? Like that kid on TikTok. How did you lose to the Atlanta Falcons? You know, I don't know. I don't know how they lost that game, but you know, Falcons are in first place. I learned that. Hey, I mean, I've learned all season that they're not as bad as we thought they were.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm a Bucks fan.
I agree, and I know you're probably mad about this.
Oh my God.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, I agree. The Falcons aren't as bad as I thought they would be. It's like concerning and good at the same time because it's like cool. Like our team actually has some like solid young players on it, like that can do stuff. But I also hate it because I still want to draft a quarterback. Like if we don't have a high pick, we're missing on who I want, CJ or Bryce. I thought that's where we would be. Those top two picks. I thought we would have one of the worst records. So that's the only thing that kind of sucks. I don't want to end up with like Will Levis or something like that. But yeah. What did you learn, Jonathan?
From college football, I learned that Jimbo Fisher is not really a good coach. He pays for his players, and he doesn't know how to develop talent. He's now gone to the point where he's just mid to me. Like, you buy your players, cool. You got them 5 stars. Why aren't they producing in the league? Michigan, I don't see them being in the top 4 by Ohio State week. I think they'll get knocked off.
Before or after?
Before.
Okay.
I don't think they'll be in the top 4. They're just not that good to me. They're single. It's just like Bama with Jake Coker, and they were just relying on Derrick Henry. That's how I feel like they are with Blake Corum.
They are.
And I just feel like that recipe won't last in today's age of football. And I just think that they're just not good enough this year.
Let me ask you this, though. Sorry to cut you off there, but they're number 4, 3 weeks before, I guess, 3 games before that Ohio State game in October or November 26th. They have they have Rutgers, they have Illinois at home, and they have Nebraska. Do you see them losing any of those 3 games to knock them out of the top 4?
Illinois is going to be tough.
Illinois is going to be tough for them.
Yeah. Illinois is ranked pretty high right now. What are they?
They're 14.
They're the top 15.
Do you see them beating
7-1?
Do you think that could happen? Like they could beat Michigan? Okay.
I don't think it's crazy because Illinois.
I don't think it's crazy. I'm just asking.
Yeah, Illinois' defense is like really good, and if all Michigan's going to do is run the ball and they force J.J. McCarthy to beat them, I think they're going to be in trouble in that game. Yeah. I won't lie. That defense is crazy at Illinois, but overall, if I was picking, this is way too early, but I would still pick Michigan. But I think it's going to be close. Like, Illinois' offense is terrible, but they can hold Michigan to low points.
What else? What else did I learn? Who else? I think that Alabama will be in the top 4 after this week. I'm not even gonna lie. They'll be in the top 4 after this week. I think the committee doesn't even respect TCU at all because what TCU has done this year has been pretty good in the Big 12. And I just think like the committee doesn't respect the Big 12 schedule as much as a SEC schedule. So that's why I believe Bama will be top 4 after this week once they beat LSU.
I agree. I just literally talked about this like just a second ago. 5 SEC teams in the top 11: Tennessee, Georgia, Bama, LSU, and then Ole Miss. There's only one ACC team, and there's one Big 12 team. Like, so that tells you what they think about those two conferences. But I'm not gonna lie, like we talked about this before, and like that goes into my what did I learn this week? I learned that the ACC is fake. Exactly what I said it was. The All Cupcakes Conference. I'm sorry to them and all their teams, but they're just not good enough. Like they don't show me anything other than beating each other up, which makes them have good records, cool, but you're just beating each other. So as soon as you come out of that conference, then you get whooped. We saw this. You came on to your podcast talking about how Clemson's wins were against Wake Forest and NC State and all these other teams were so great. Like, that's cool. That's great. Wake Forest got whooped by Louisville this weekend. Syracuse got whooped by Notre Dame. And NC State won by 1 point.
It's college football. What do you want?
I want for you to realize that the ACC is not good. And that's why Clemson is fake, which I tried to tell you before as well. Like,
So
DJ Uyunglele up when he wants to, and he doesn't, like, some of the time, too. He would have lost in that game against Syracuse. Like, he had already thrown 2 picks. I don't think Cade came in there and did better, but they just went to a style that they could just run the ball down their throats and finish that game. But I believe if DJ was in that game, I think they would have actually might have lost because he might have thrown another pick, bro, or fumbled. Like, I mean, it was not on.
Yeah, Clemson's got Notre Dame this weekend, I think, and I just think. Sorry,
No, you're good.
Look, with me, it's like with college football, it's not like the NFL. You can't just go in there and win every week. Obviously, a win is a win, but you got to go out there and you got to take care of business. It's not just about winning. I can see both arguments, but I mean, at the same time, I get the point of any given Saturday, anybody can win, but at the same time, it's like you gotta win, and you gotta win it right, or else you're gonna get exposed. You could possibly get exposed down the line, and I could see that with Clemson down the line as well.
And I'll say this, like I'll admit that's what happened to Bama. We were not winning outright. Like everyone saw us struggle at parts in that Arkansas game. They saw us struggle against Texas. They saw us struggle against A&M. Like, bruh. And A&M. A&M, I'll say that was Bryce Young. Like that was like if we had Bryce, that game would have been out of.
Yeah, it would have lost. But the Texas game, I still wish I would have lost that game. Y'all would have lost to Texas, and then y'all would have lost to Tennessee. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we would have been done for sure.
That's true. That's we'll get. I'm sure we'll get to it later, so I won't say it right now. But let's just say I'm not as high on Bama right now as Justin is.
I'm not super high on my team either, but we'll talk about that. But, and then the other thing I said I learned was one of the other things, because I have 2. I realized that this is the first time I'll admit the committee does have a Bama bias. And I'm not saying it's because they put Alabama at 6. Because in my opinion, Alabama should be higher. And I'll talk about that later. But I'll say it because LSU, for no reason, should be 10. That's crazy. Like, LSU should not be 10. Ole Miss should not be 11. There's some of those Big 12 teams that are actually pretty solid this year, that are better than that. There's some of those Big 10 teams. I think Penn State is better than some of them. So to me, it's like I call it a Bama bias because they know Bama still has to play those two teams. And if they rank them high and Bama goes out and wins, we can bump them up whenever we want. They just beat a number 10 team. And then after that, we beat the number 11 team. Like, so our schedule looks a lot better. But I will say that's the first time where I look at it and I'm like, it looks like they're trying to give Bama a push. Because I told you, like, I don't think this team is one of our best either. Bryce Young is our entire team. Bryce Young is the whole entire team, like completely. And I'll admit that. But me and my dad have said this before. This isn't a championship team. I still want to make a playoff, but if they win a championship, I'd be so surprised. But yeah, that's what I say I learned is that the committee does have a little Bama bias in this ranking this week. What do y'all think?
Yeah, that's what we all think. Mm-hmm. We know. We know about that.
Both of y'all silently said we've been there.
No. Yeah.
But then my last what I learned was Ohio State's not as real as I thought, as they like showed off to be. Like I knew they hadn't really played anyone all season long. When you look at their schedule, like their toughest opponent was maybe like Michigan State or something like that. Have they even played them actually? I want to say I wouldn't even say Michigan State. They haven't really played anybody all season. Their toughest opponent was Notre Dame, honestly. But I'll say against Penn State, I wouldn't say they got exposed, but it showed that they're not an unbeatable team. Like it showed they're not just the crazy good team that everyone thought they were. We can see some flaws in them, and I think just like every other team in the country right now, you can see that no one's dominant. And Ohio State showed that they're finally like not just dominant, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I also think Ohio State's not fully healthy. So they still are banged up with a couple of injuries. So I won't say Ohio State is not there yet. I just have to see them at their full strength.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all we learned for this week. We're going to cut the recording right here. We'll be right back on the next one. Probably going to be our longest one. Georgia versus Tennessee preview. I have a lot to say. I think we all do. All right. Do this. We'll be right back.